Here we are, with the very last SmackDown game. A journey that started months ago can finally be completed. Yet, for the last game, I was highly disappointed. How is this the so-called best WWE game? One of the so-called greatest games of all time type of material. This game sucked.
Aha, he's kidding. Popcorn?
The downgraded superstar creator, the lackluster roster, the terrible combat and controls, and don't get me started on the technical problems. Here Comes the Pain is a rightful name, for pain is all you'll experience when playing it.
That's so poetic.
I always start out with creating people to play with, using the template of Charlie, Muda, and Zach to see if the creation tools are any good. If I cannot make them, then the tools suck. Well, this time, they were a bit harder to design, mostly because of the morphing of bodies isn't as intuitive this time around. Plus, parts cannot be sculpted like before, leaving you with freaky looking things you'd call people. In turn, this means you can make freaks akin to Just Bring It though. In a way, I somehow made a Timu, Charlie, Muda, and Zach though. On top of Derp, Angry Joe, a Dollar Tree Queso, and finally, a Dirty Grandpa. Honestly, if you told me he was from Austin, Texas and related to Asmongold, I'd believe you.
This'll take me a minute. What the fuck?
There's a lack of parts too, as they removed many customization options in favor of streamlining everything. Now you just have different colored jeans as options basically. Wanted to make a T-Rex prostitute with high heels like in SmackDown 1? You can't. There's only boots and shoes with one pair of sandals. You also have little to no masks, jewelry, shirts, hoodies, jackets, Timothy's bangs. But hey, at least you can have blue jeans in pink with orange leopard spots. Yay!
My heart!
Oh my god, Roger, are you okay?
Create a Move is where you can assign different moves or even entire sets copied from unique and created superstars. You can assign everything here. Finishers, grapples, entrances, you name it. I just copy over entire movesets from unique superstars, as each created one is based off of someone unique. Gotta keep Charlie as Shawn Michaels, he's the moisty boy toy. Thankfully, stables are now back under creation mode, where it belongs. Yet, I could care less for creating animation. So, we'll just cover stables instead. You can still make stables with the name, members, entrances, music, and video. Though you won't have many options this time around for 2 or even 3 member stables. Half of the unique teams from past games are gone, as the roster was neutered. The controls, however, have been slightly changed, causing me nothing but issues. After playing several games of similar systems, to go to the next one and receive something different will throw anyone off. But eventually, I started to get used to having R2 and L2 for reversals, as well as square being weapon grab and getting in and out of the ring and entering different areas backstage. Still, just something that should be known if you play this one after the last 4 games. Here Comes the Pain introduces a grapple system, one that sucks greatly. As you try to counter anything, it will fail. As you try to overwhelm your opponent, it will fail. Most of your time will be on the ground wondering, where did everything go wrong in your life? It rarely ever works in your favor. I tried a few different controllers to make sure it wasn't a problem on my end. No, the game itself is just broken. Shocker. You now have a damaged display on your UI. This will show you each body part and how hurt it is. Though it's nothing special as combat doesn't change, you just now can see what's damaged is all. But hey, I'd rather have it than not. One thing I didn't like about Shut Your Mouth was the lack of detail on what's damaged most. Really helps in hardcore matches, especially since bleeding is finally a thing. As for the roster itself, it has been updated once again, leaving out several wrestlers featured in Shut Your Mouth, mostly due to legal reasons, such as the Ultimate Warrior, or they left the brand with Jeff Hardy, who was on drugs at the time, and Hulk Hogan. For who's here, it's an okay selection, but many are locked as you need to progress in season mode to unlock them. No, thank you. Have everything at the start, or at the very least, cheat codes to allow me to unlock everything right away. I have no desire of wasting my time with a restrictive, dumb-ass career mode. Doing certain things just to unlock a certain wrestler, that was a massive complaint I had with every SmackDown vs. Raw game that did this. Even my favorite, SVR10 did this, not putting Triple H through a table on a certain episode of Raw as Edge on a certain day in a certain month just to unlock Vince McMahon. Fuck that. Two new match types are here, being Elimination Chamber and Bra and Panty match. Oh yeah, sleazy early 2000s at its finest. Watch Lita get her clothes ripped off by a dim-witted blonde, and that's it. It's a pretty stupid mode with an asinine concept, so I don't care for it. Plus the controls kept fucking with me. As for Elimination Chamber, anyone else just find this match to be stupid? Just a giant cage full of tubes and lights waiting forever to jump into the ring till only one is left. It's a pretty boring match overall. Shut Your Mouth was fast in loading stuff, plus even saving wasn't that long either. Yet here comes the pain. Decided to use its name to describe your waiting time between menus and playing the game. You won't be having any fun while waiting roughly 22 to 45 seconds, give or take, on a single loading screen. We're approaching the Sims 3 territory here, folks. That's not a step in the right direction. some reason, auto taunts are now a thing. Your wrestlers will randomly start taunting during a fight and leave you open to attacks. You cannot stop this either. It will randomly occur, either not so very often, but still often, or very so often. This is for your created superstar in their settings. You have to choose often or not so often but still often, in turn leaving you open to constantly getting decked by someone else during a fight. Lame.
It's awful.
The new grapple system fucking sucks. No matter what, you will never counter. R2 is for grapple reverse. Doesn't work. L2 is for strike reverse. Doesn't work. The pin counter is mash any button repeatedly. Doesn't work.
3.
The whole system completely ruined the combat. The lock-on system itself has also gotten worse somehow as well. Everything about the gameplay just sucks in comparison to Shut Your Mouth. But hey, blood is finally here. Creating superstars can be a bit more restrictive in terms of morphing bodies, especially faces. I wasn't having fun trying to sculpt people in this iteration, plus there's a lack of clothing options for some reason. Now, we only have sneakers, a pair of sandals, and several boots. Or the same kind of pants with different sizes of legs. I hate how vastly limited our options are this time around. I could barely even make derp. Derp is love. Derp is life. If you liked exploring the world outside of the ring, Shut Your Mouth, and fighting there, you won't have much options this time around, as several locations were removed. The locker room, subway station, the world stage, and more are gone. Honestly, don't like that, and want more places to fight outside of the ring, especially for hardcore matches, smashing people's skulls into TVs, or shoving them into oncoming vehicles, even suplexing them into spotlights or dumpsters. It's fun to brawl away from the ring.
Is that all?
If you like any pay-per-view arenas, you'll have a lot here to choose from, which is where they removed backstage arenas come from. Get rid of those in favor of PPV locations instead. I honestly don't care for them, as I'm not a hardcore WWE fan who watches these things since they're PPV, but some of them look neat and can be a refreshing change up from Raw and SmackDown ring fights.
I hadn't thought of that.
There's some glitches in this game. The only one I got recorded, since recording wasn't working half the time, fucking figures, is teleporting outside of the cage in Hell in the Cell.
NANI?
So I just sat there watching everyone else fight for a while before I got back into the fight. Honestly, it wasn't a game-breaking bug, yet it's a concern, making you wonder if someone can win matches by glitching at times. Now that would suck, especially if it's a title match. When you look it over, this game doesn't really do much to justify paying money for it. I mean, there's not a whole lot here in comparison to last year's title Shut Your Mouth, removed wrestlers, arenas, and downgraded combat, plus long load times to boot between every single action. No thanks. This game just doesn't give me any real value in comparison.
Intriguing.
The UI clogs the screen, especially once there's 6 people in the ring. It is just a mess, and it can get really irritating trying to see what's going on because of the UI at the bottom with the 4 wrestlers. SmackDown there. This really gets in the way, especially in backstage brawls and everyone's spreading out during a hardcore match. I can't see half of the people because they're hidden behind the UI. The UI in general just sucks. It is just bad. Well, that does it. We're done with all SmackDown games. Most were not good, and some were flawed, yet worthwhile. After this, they would do the SmackDown vs. Raw series in 2004 till 2010. So maybe one day I'll look at all of the SVR games. For now though, I want to avoid wrestling games for a while, like Dynasty Warriors and The Sims. So, I'll figure out what's next when the time comes. Let's be done with this review already.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. It's over.
At the end of the day, Here Comes the Pain is a mediocre game, not really worth playing. There's tons of problems, but it can barely function. So I guess it's just okay. Go play it if you hate yourself. Otherwise, go play Shut Your Mouth instead. That's it with this journey. A lot of mediocrity was involved. Very fitting for Yuke's at this time, as it took them till the late 2000s to really nail everything down, from the combat to the controls, and of course, creation suite options and possibilities.
Can't you see that?
Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.